Oh my God, welcome. I'm Catherine, and this is Off Topic, where stories spill over, lessons get learned, life gets messy, just like it should. Welcome to my episode today. It's a fun one, and I'll tell you why. The other day, I always talk about going to coffee shops with friends because I do. I love coffee shops. I love exploring different ones. And not long ago, I discovered a nice little coffee shop in Park Extension. And I used to live there, like I've mentioned, many, many years ago. And my daughter's going to be moving into the neighborhood, so I started exploring what's around once again. Before I start, siniyasas. There we go. Anyways, so we had planned two of my Greek girlfriends and and there's a reason why I'm mentioning Greek. I don't only have Greek girlfriends, of course, but my Greek girlfriends and I were trying to choose a coffee shop, and I said, I have this new place that I've gone to often in the last few months, so would you like to try it? And they said, yeah. So we went to this coffee shop, and we were sitting outside, really nice day. There was a terrace in the back. Anyways, so we're sitting in the back, and I just know the owner or the gentleman that works there, but I really don't know anybody else in the coffee shop. And in the terrace at that moment, it was just myself and my girlfriends. So we started talking amongst ourselves, and then slowly other customers started arriving. Now, coincidentally, these customers, none of us knew them. They were only men, just coincidentally, and there was 4 of them. And they didn't all come in together. I think one came in, and then a couple of other guys, and then another guy. And I don't know, it seems like they knew each other, but they didn't plan to be there at the same time. And again, my girlfriends and I didn't know any of these men. Now, we were all in like our mid-50s, early 60s. We know that because we had that conversation as the afternoon progressed. Now, we started talking about, random topics, my girlfriend and I. And there was a situation with one of the fellas. He had his dog there. So something happened with his dog while he was there at the coffee shop. And still have this cough. And we just happened to start interacting with each other. And starting, getting involved in the conversation, inviting ourselves into the conversation, and inviting them into our conversation. Now, I'm not going to talk about what the conversations were about because it's not about that. But what was really interesting is when we sort of ended the afternoon. We were actually there from 3 o'clock till 8:30. So we actually, had a nice time. But what was really interesting was that after we all left, I turned around to my girlfriends. Actually, we turned around to each other, and we realized what had happened during the course of that afternoon. During the course of that afternoon, something happened to me that's never happened to me before in my life. Because every time I go for coffee and there's a man that's in the conversation, or men, several men, it's usually because we know each other somehow, or someone's in a relationship with the other person, or they're friends, they bring them along. But my personal experience, it's never happened where I just met complete strangers at that same time. And it was the same thing for my girlfriends. And so we were talking about different topics. And it was so interesting that, and this is this specific situation, I mean, it's not all men everywhere, but I think this might apply to most men, what I'm going to say. We were all talking about the same thing, but the way we were approaching it was so completely different. My girlfriends and I, when we were talking about this topic, whatever it was, we probably all know what I'm gonna say, but we brought emotion into it. We brought feelings into it. We, trying to read between the lines, questioning everything, just elaborating on whatever it was. And these men, although they're very different personalities, obviously, and they seemed genuine in their discussion and the way they were talking about, how they felt about whatever it was that we were discussing. But it was just so straightforward, to the point. It's finished and it's done. And, from one topic to the next, that's how it was, it was taking place. And I kind of thought, my golly, this is what this book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, is all about. And I started thinking about that. Now, I've never read the book. I think we've all heard about this book, and maybe many of us have read it, but I've never read this book. But this was my Mars versus Venus moment. And the other thing that I found quite interesting and fascinating is that because we were all Greek, but we were Greek Canadian, the way we were brought up was very similar. So our thoughts were the same. Our experiences were pretty similar. But again, the way we were approaching them was so different. And there were no, arguments or, who's right, who's wrong. It was not about that at all. No one was sort of trying to prove their point. Not at all. But it was just having a conversation. And, being able to have this kind of genuine conversation. So I just wanted to share that experience. And again, we were there for hours and hours, and it was really, really interesting. So, it was refreshing also because, there was nobody saying to anybody else, oh, you always say that, or you always do that, or, I've heard that before, because we were complete strangers. Now, after when we left, somebody said, oh, you guys were able to sit down and, have conversations with complete strangers for so many hours. I said, yes. And that's what made it so special and so refreshing, because nobody was trying to prove anything to anybody, but just seeing the point of view of, males versus females, our generation again. Don't forget, I'm talking to people that are in their mid-50s to early 60s, so we have to always keep that in mind. So I thought I'd share that with you because it was a lot of fun, and it was very interesting. And I said, I'd love to be able to do that more and more, just, explore that type of environments and those kinds of conversations, with everybody. So that was that. And I wanted to share that with you. If you have a story that's similar or something that reminds you somehow about what I just shared with you guys today, I'd love to hear it. And I'd love to also hear your thoughts about this. Now, again, if with our husband or our partner, yes, it could get a little bit heated, but this was not the case here. So thanks for listening to my episode today on my Mars versus Venus moment. And just remember that, let's give each other a chance. And today's Greek coffee wisdom is this. Now, we are not here to change each other. We are not here to prove our point. We are here to just understand each other, share our thoughts, and be able to learn from each other. Thank you for joining me in my episode today. And just remember that life's a little better when you go off topic. Thank you.